Things just took a major twist for the Boston Red Sox and Marcelo Meyer, as the young infielder was expected to be on the opening day roster, but Alex Cora just made a surprising statement about that, what was thought to be fact. We break it down for you here today in a Red Sox Digest. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you might be. We got a lot to talk about and an interesting statement from Alex Cora this morning, but hey, baseball is officially back today. The Red Sox played their exhibition game that they play each year against Northeastern. Excited to see the boys back on the field. I was watching the game, in fact, just before making this show. But besides that point, I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button, 100% free. And now we're officially in baseball season, so we're going to get more and more content out for you. But today, it was an interesting morning for me because I woke up, was talking about the Red Sox, thinking about what's going on, and there was a tweet that came out that was, well, shocking to me, and it involved Marcelo Meyer. Now, to understand why this is even more shocking than maybe it should be, we have to go back to a new update on Romy Gonzalez. Matthew Corley had the kind of report here saying Romy Gonzalez is going to be limited for 2 weeks and won't participate in team workouts before another check-in with doctors. Until then, he'll be limited mostly to light catch and minimal fielding drills per Tim Healy. Now, here's the quote. Tests showed a little tear in his shoulder, according to Gonzalez, who added that everyone has a tear, and tear size doesn't always align with the severity of the symptoms, end quote. Okay, so Romy Gonzalez, who was thought to be a platoon option or even the mainstay for second base, is now looking like he will not be able to start opening day / might be out for an extended period of time, depending on the severity of the symptoms or injury, whatever you want to make of it. Which led us to Marcelo Meyer and say, okay, well, he's going to be the starting second baseman on opening day. That's where the interesting quote comes in today from Alex Cora. You see, he said this. Alex Cora said Marcelo Meyer needs to earn a job on the Red Sox opening day, needing to show some things this spring. Asking what he needs to show, Cora said he needs to be better offensively than he was in the majors last year. My bet would be he'll be in Cincy, but Cora made it clear it's not guaranteed. Now, a couple of things that I like and dislike about this. First of all, I understand what Alex Cora is trying to say here, basically saying, he has to play better than he did last year. And that's a fair statement. I mean, you look at Marcelo's stats last year, and they were not something of a major league caliber shortstop. 228 average, 272 OBP, 402 slug. And it gets worse when you do the splits versus righties and lefties. Dude could not hit a ball against a lefty, which is something we've kind of known for his entire career. Obviously, there was a hope that he could kind of jump over that at some point, and I still think he can. But the bigger thing to me, and I think the reason that Alex Cora made this statement today, is not to discredit Marcelo Meyer. It's not to discredit what he has been able to do in the field or with the bat. It's to light a fire under him. When that's what managers sometimes do. When you are looking at a player who has been maybe not as good as people believe he should be, and you want to try and get him to get that extra step, get that extra fire, because he's already a clubhouse guy you love. He's very fluid and relaxed. This might be that little thing of he knows Marcelo Meyer is on all the social media platforms. You've heard the quote, TikTok, chicks, it's Marcelo Meyer. At the same time, that could go one of two ways, and I'm hoping it goes the right way. The first way is that Marcelo Meyer feels the pressure and it kind of collapses underneath him. I don't think that's going to happen. He's been a guy who was drafted out of high school, has gotten all the way to the majors now, and is expected to be that major league opening day second baseman for the Red Sox. The other problem, or the other way it could happen, is the pressure gets to him and it makes him perform better. And to the point of Alex Cora, he needs to perform better than he did versus the major leagues last year, which is a fair statement. I talked about the splits for Marcelo Meyer. They're not good. Versus righties, he had 101 at-bats compared to the 26 at-bats versus lefties. So there's your kind of telltale sign of how the Red Sox saw him as a batter versus lefties. But versus righties, again, 248, 294, 446, 4 homers. Lefties, 154, 185, and a 231 slug. When you are getting on base on a less than 200, that's not good at all. And so that's where I think the Red Sox and Alex Cora kind of have this quote of he needs to be better. But as comparative to his stats of the regular major league season and last year's spring training, it's a very different Marcelo Meyer. And if he competes like he did last spring training, there's going to be no question about it and him getting that major league opening day slot. If you look to 2025, he had the most games in the spring training he's had in his entire career. 44 plate appearances, 12 hits, 6 runs, 2 triples, a homer, and 11 RBI. Just to note, you want to go back to his stats versus his stats this season in the major leagues and talk about how many RBI he had overall. Yeah, he had 10. So you're talking last year's spring training, he had 11 RBI in way less games. And the big thing to me, though, average at 333, OBP at 455 slugging. You can't see it, but it's just above 500. That's what we need to see. That's the Marcelo Meyer we need to see now. He got a very good thing last year by getting to play in Mexico City, obviously. Getting to play kind of his home area. It was kind of a cool experience for him. He talked about it, and he played very well in those couple of games there. He needs to have that same type of spring training this year for, I think, Alex Cora to feel trustworthy in him. But to a point, what's the other option the Red Sox have? Because without Romy Gonzalez, their options, they're kind of cut sparingly thin. So I went to kind of look this up. The second baseman on the roster for the Boston Red Sox. Now, Caleb Durbin could play second base, and then you have Andrew Monasterio playing third, which it might be fine. But here is the thought. Marcelo Meyer is the second baseman that I expect to have on opening day. Romy's hurt. Sadan has already been stated he will not be in the infield this year. He better not. Mickey Gasper, Nick Sogard, and IKF, they're not going to give you as much upside as Marcelo Meyer does. Maybe they'll hit better for a little bit. Maybe Nick Sogard, being the switch hitter alongside Mickey Gasper, also switch hitter, helps. But they're not going to give you the upside that they do with Marcelo Meyer. So what I expect is Meyer might be limited in terms of getting the platoon option with maybe IKF, but there's also another option who today had a very nice little hit, and that is going to be Christian Campbell. Now, we all know the story from Christian Campbell. I think I've talked about him enough to go into detail about what he has to do, but if he can perform in spring training, I think there's a very real shot that he could. They wanted to play an outfit, I understand that, but if the situation presents itself where he can get every day at bats, or at least every other day at bats, facing off against lefties playing second base, I think they're going to try that out. At least that's the play. But lefties is obviously going to be the tough stretch because Romy Gonzalez was a beast last year, batting .331 with 7 homers and 25 RBI against lefties last year. You don't have Rob Refsnyder. As of right now, you don't have Romy Gonzalez. Those lefty killers that you had on your roster last year, they're few and far between all of a sudden. But I go back to the point of Marcelo Meyer and talking about his kind of statistics last year because we've all seen the baseball savant. It's not great. But this is in the majors, and it was his first year there. He really wasn't expected to be called up this early. It just kind of happened with the way injuries went about. But if you go to his prospect savant, last year looking at his prospect stats, that's where you can see Marcelo Meyer. He was a baller. Expected batting average in the 74th percentile, expected OBP in the 79th percentile, expected slug up there. I mean, every single one of these stats is in the red, and the age range, the prospect score being in the 98th percentile tells you all you need to know about Marcelo Meyer and what he has. And so, to me, I feel like this is going to end up with Marcelo taking the reins at second base, but I'm curious for your thoughts. What's your confidence level in Meyer being our opening day second baseman? I want you to let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. 1 being least confident, 5 being most confident. Scale your confidence in the comment section down below in Marcelo Meyer being on the opening day roster. I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 4. I think that this statement is, backed. I think Cora does truly say, he has to perform. But I also understand that Marcelo Meyer is a guy that has high upside. It's a prospect they like. It's somebody they want to have on the Major League roster. And if he can just compete and perform like he did in last year's spring training, I don't think it should be really any problem for him to make the opening day roster. He's going to get a lot of chances. There's a lot of players that are going to be playing in the WBC this year, and it allows for more experience, more time for Marcelo. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section on all this. Do you think that Marcelo should play second base? Do you think Caleb Durbin should be the second baseman and put Andrew Monasterio at third? I think there's a lot of different options that Alex Cora has. I don't know if any of them are the right option, which kind of stinks. I would have loved to have somebody who I knew, okay, that's our second baseman, that's our third baseman. I think we have that in Marcelo and Caleb, but this statement was just an interesting one from Cora, so I thought it'd be a fun thing to kind of talk about and break down the intrinsics behind it. But for now, though, guys, we do appreciate you watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Baseball's back, guys. Go Sox, and peace out.